Good evening, everyone. I'm Erin Clark. Dan Green is off tonight. We are beginning in Watsonville tonight, where shots fired into a home this morning seriously injured a 9-year-old boy. It happened around 4 a.m. on the 300 block of Ford Street. Police tell Action News at least 4 shots were fired into the home, and one of those shots hit the child who was sleeping in a front room. And that has at least one Watsonville police detective warning families about the safety of their families, not only on the streets, but even in their own homes.
It's a very unfortunate situation, and there's not much we can say, but just be cautious of your surroundings. And I personally would make sure that you can keep your children towards the end of your home, away from the street, if that's at all possible.
The 9-year-old victim, Samuel Rodriguez, was flown this morning to a Bay Area trauma center. And that's where this picture was taken this afternoon by the family's pastor, who shared it with Action News just a few minutes ago. 9-year-old Samuel is doing okay. He is expected to survive. It is the second shooting of a young person in 2 weeks in Watsonville. Watsonville dealing with violent crime. That will be a priority for the city's new police chief, who was just introduced to the public minutes ago. With more, we go to Action News reporter Bryn Whitaker live in Watsonville.
Well, Erin, like we just heard, when we first asked police this morning about how we can better be protecting our children, the response was a bit surprising. When we later asked police to clarify that response, they did change their tune, saying that there isn't one answer on how to prevent violent acts like this.
I myself have 3 kids, right? And there's only so much that I can do. But what we can do is we can be aware of our surroundings, be aware of what our kids are doing. And really just be engaged in their everyday life.
Watsonville Police Lieutenant Jorge Zamora says Watsonville has not seen an uptick in violent crime in the last few years, but the crime comes in waves, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Obviously, like within the last 2 weeks, if we just talk about the last 2 weeks, then yeah, we could say that there's that there's an increase within the last 2 weeks. But I think collectively, crime has been down for. Historically, crime has been down here in Watsonville. This kind of stuff is scary, but there also is a collective effort to stop it.
Between a youth violence prevention task force and the Police Activities League program, Lieutenant Zamora says they are doing everything they can to get to the root of the issue. He adds that this recent increase should not be a reason for people to change their lifestyles.
We can't live that way. We can't live in fear. We can be aware of what's going on around us and respond to it effectively, but to say this is what you need to do to prevent something that we don't know when it's going to happen, it's nearly impossible.
This morning's shooting comes on the same day that Watsonville is introducing its new police chief, Captain Dave Honda, who is coming off of 25 years of service at the San Jose Police Department. The mayor says he is confident that Honda is the right man for the job because of his experience as a member of the mayor's gang task force and his emphasis on community policing.
He was part of the mayor's gang task force in the city of San Jose. So it's really, it's a big city. It has some of the similar issues on the east side. So he has that experience as well. It is something that we need here in Watsonville for folks to have that experience.
Now, we also wanted to compare the homicide rates between San Jose and Watsonville, since that's where the new chief is coming from, San Jose. Now, in 2014, San Jose had 32 homicides. In 2014, in Watsonville, there were 8 homicides. Now, the difference there is that in San Jose, they have 921 sworn officers. Here in Watsonville, there's only 68 sworn officers. So the challenge here for the new chief is going to be working with a lot less resources, but still quite a bit of violent crime here in Watsonville.
It does put it into perspective, though. I think when you see a spike in crime, you necessarily start to worry about the numbers. When you compare them to a place like San Jose or another big city, it does kind of put things in perspective. Bryn, I also know you got a chance to speak with the new chief today. What did he say about specifically this recent spike in violent crime and his plans to turn the tide?
Yeah, I did just speak with the new chief, and he really harped on starting a few new programs to help the youth, specifically here in Watsonville. He mentioned that a part of his experience that he's the most proud of is starting a youth leadership program in San Jose. He actually started that from the ground up. He wants to start a program like that here in Watsonville to try and really hone in on the youth and see if that can really help prevent these kind of crimes in the future. Aaron?
All right, it sounds good, Brandon. We will look forward to hearing more from the new chief tonight on Action News at 11.